Ẹ mà lẹ́ níbẹ̀ yẹn ò nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'd like to talk about this popular Yoruba metaphor, just so that when you hear it, you know what it is and you know how to apply it. A ò tí Kófá ńlẹ̀, Ifá tí ń ṣe is what it is. A ò tí Kófá ńlẹ̀, Ifá tí ń ṣe. A ò tí Kófá ńlẹ̀, Ifá tí ń ṣe. What does it mean? Before I tell you what it means, this is a contraction. Kofa is a contraction of two words. Nle is a contraction of two words. So there are contractions here that I'm going to expand next. A ò tí kó Ifá ní ilẹ̀, Ifá tí ń ṣe. A ò tí kó Ifá. Instead of Kofa, kó Ifá. Instead of nle, ní ilẹ̀, Ifá tí ń ṣe. What does it mean, word for word? A is we. A is we. O is not. Sometimes have or is or are inferred before the not. So sometimes it's have not, sometimes it's had not, sometimes it is not, sometimes it's are not, sometimes it's just not, but it's have not here in this context. T is like yet. Yet is, I suppose, close in translation. Maybe not necessarily transliteration, but it's close in translation to T. Ko is pack. In one of my recent videos, if I remember, I'll just link it at the top. I compared ko to mu. I said ko is when you pack, mu is when you take. Ko suggests that there's a lot of, whatever it is that you're taking. Maybe not necessarily a lot, but there's more than one item, so it's pack instead of just take. Ifa is the Yoruba people's guide or deity of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The Ifa here is sort of like a metaphor for the divination items. So all the items that come together for divination are put into one as Ifa here. And you will understand when I translate further. But the Ifa that is here in this context is divination items. And then Ni is like from here. Basically it just points at where something is. Typically, like, it answers the question where. Ni. And then ile is the ground or the floor. Ile is ground or the floor. A ò tí kó Ifá ní ilẹ̀. We have not packed the divination items from the ground or floor. Let's do the second part, the second half of the statement. Ifá tí ń ṣe. Let's check. Here, Ifá is Ifá. In this second part, a ò tí kó Ifá nílẹ̀ or a ò tí Kófá ńlẹ̀. This is the Ifá tí ń ṣe. The second Ifá here is referring to the deity. The deity. Their words, the deity and what they've stated. The previous one was like the physical items that are involved in the divination. The other part is like, more, this part is like more esoteric. The deity, what they've said, this is the other part. And then T is have or has here. In this context, T is have or as. And that is how this is what it would mean typically as well. These are the words that we relate to T, have, or as. It indicates that the sentence is in present or continuous tense. Is a standalone word. I recently spoke about consonants that are vowels. Here it's like a consonant and a vowel at the same time. I've explained it, and it's also a separate word. I explained it separately, and I'll link that video here as well. I hope I remember to. Indicates that the sentence is in present or continuous tense. That is what does. So sometimes it's is, sometimes it's are, sometimes it's like start to, sometimes it's be or being, but it just indicates that something is happening or continues to happen. Share is happen, be, manifest. Suggests that the sentence is in present or continuous tense. Share means happen or be or manifest. So if you say share, so it's sort of like it will be, it will manifest. The state of being, manifesting. So that is that. When you put these words together, more importantly, let's put this together. The guide or deity of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding has start to, happen or be or manifest. Let's make it make sense. When you transliterate, this is what you have. We have not yet packed Ifa from the ground. The second part is Ifa has started to, or Ifa is manifesting or happening. We have not yet packed Ifa from the ground. Ifa has started to or is manifesting. And here I told you that this would indicate like the more physical items, the roke, okbele, okmon, all the things that come together for divination. And this other part is like, the spirit, the more esoteric, cryptic part of it. When you translate further, because the purpose is to, make it make sense, make it understandable, then you get this. We have not packed the divination items yet. Ifa is starting to manifest. We have not packed the divination items yet. Ifa is starting to manifest. When you then translate it even further, because we went from transliteration to translation. When you translate further, you may get this. We have just done the divination and the predictions are starting to occur, which is what that statement really means. When you divine, when you babalawo divines, not just anybody, or yalawo divines, and they get the answer, the specific odu that applies to your situation, they say it based on what they see. They tend to pack their things, put their things together, especially when they're invited. They put their things together back in the designated bag and they head out. They've delivered their message. They don't stand around to see if you're going to listen to the instructions or not. They've played their part, So when they deliver a message like that and things start to happen immediately, almost immediately, and you start to see the effects, it's interesting, isn't it? So that kind of scenario is being used as a metaphor here. A diviner typically divines when they're done. Let's say you invite them, they're done, they pack their things and they head on. But it's always interesting when, even before they air out, the effects of what they just said starts to show. So that is what this is. We have not packed the divination items from the floor, and we can already see what was literally just said, what is most likely going to happen. We can already see effects of the prediction that just happened, or the predictions that just came through, maybe the warnings or the advice, or really depending on the situation, but the predictions are starting to occur. We have just done the divination and the predictions are starting to occur. We're already seeing the effects. When will you say this? Excuse me. You typically say this when something occurs soon after someone suggests it will. The situation typically, when it's used as a metaphor like this, typically it doesn't even relate to Ifa or divination at all. If, let's say, because recently I was seeing videos of a wedding, and just by the way the groom was dancing in, and just like the general arrogance, I was like, okay, this, I don't know. It's not my place to tell, but you can already tell the relationship that is going to have issues if you pay attention, just by, how each party is behaving. You can almost always tell, just by how they sometimes right there and then, when tensions are high, you see couples starting to fight or starting to quarrel right from the wedding reception. So the groom was dancing in, and you could just see arrogance written all over him and the friends. It was just too obvious. So I was saying it immediately with the person I was watching it with, that this doesn't look, there's something here. And there was something the groom did in the video that further proved that there was a problem. When they, because typically the husband will prostrate and everything, and they will say, sit between your bride's parents. The bride will do the same, sit between, at least the modern weddings that we have now, sit between your groom's parents or whatever. But the arrogance with which he sat on the man's even the man had to open his mouth, like, it just, there was just this arrogance. So typically you see signs like that. Anyway, back to the metaphor in question. You typically say, tí Kofa nle Ifá tí ń ṣe, when you say something, or someone around you say something, and you start to see the effects immediately. You start to see, like, oh, okay. Yeah, you can see, typically stated when something occurs soon after suggests it will. That thing is not going to last, or those plates will start to break, and soon after they start to break, or or maybe this, I find that is typically stated after a warning has been issued. It is not commonly used in positive context, like 60-70% of the time. It's not really like, oh, I said she was going to pass her examination, tí Kofa nle Ifá tí ń ṣe, and she already has, I said she was going to graduate with a first class, tí Kofa nle Ifá tí ń ṣe, she already has, like, I don't know, she already has 100 in all her scores or something like that, even in the first year. Not like that, not in the, it's typically not used, it's typically used in the, okay, but we warned you, and you can start to see the effects. Let's say somebody wants to, maybe somebody came to you for divination. It doesn't even have to, let me say outside the divination. Maybe somebody came to you for advice, and they said, oh, maybe their partner is starting to have controlling tendencies, and they ask you for your opinion, and maybe soon after, the person in question is already calling them and asking, where are you, this and that, and starting to call them names, you know, maybe you had just said this is not the relationship for you. I mean, this person is borderline abusive, and soon after, the person in question, the so-called the abuser in question, is as called in question now, because at that point you don't know, but you're just, or maybe you already know, actually maybe you already know. I mean, they're your friend, you already know what the person is capable of, and you're telling them, and soon after they're calling and saying, come home, where are you, this and that, you shouldn't be there. You would say, can you see how Kofa if I we have not, I'm not even done with the statement. Maybe you're done, but we haven't even said all that needs to be said, and the effects are already showing. You can already see what I was talking about, that this person is not the person for you. Typically stated, when something occurs, soon after someone suggests it will. Typically something not positive, or typically some, like a shock, or maybe unpleasant surprise, or sometimes it could even be a neutral kind of situation, but it's seldom used in the positive sense. It's typically something not too good, or something neutral. Like I know Ronke will upload a video today. Maybe you had not even finished that statement and you saw my new video. Sherry, bye. Àti Kófá lẹ́ẹ̀bá ti ń ṣe. Ronke àti ní Ronke máa fi àgbéléwò kan ránṣẹ́ sí wa lónìí. Ó sì ti gbé síta. Ó máa àti ló máa gbé síta. Ó sì ti gbé síta. You know, something like that. Typically something not too good, or something neutral. So yeah, especially after a warning. Má ṣe o. Or let me think of another scenario. I've used and I apologize for, like, because I may have said something like domestic DV. I may have suggested that or something. I apologize, if I triggered anybody. I have to always remember that. There's another context that could possibly fit here. Or maybe somebody warns you about, like, oh, be careful about this fake babalawo. Or be careful about this fake iyalawo, and they're starting to just show signs. Maybe maybe they are very condescending, or they are really asking you things that they don't necessarily need to know. I mean, apart from like the basics, they don't need to, how much do you have in your bank account? Then you know that it's really not their business at that point. Or how many men have you slept with? They are, the questions that don't relate to any Odu. Except like in specific situations, like, oh, okay, yeah, there are situations that but let's say you've gone to do something and they're asking you like something irrelevant, like, oh, did you say your brother was the governor of Lagos State? How much does he have in his government purse? Something like that. So let's say somebody warns you about that kind of person, and soon after they're asking questions like that, like, see, I've not even told you everything that you need to know, and they're already asking you questions like that. So that is it. That is basically it. I've given 2 scenarios. I think from the 2 that I gave, you can already deduce what it means. Just in case you hear it and you're like, if I Kofanle, like, just, we've not even said everything that can possibly be said. We've not even packed the divination items. We've said what we need to say. We've done the predictions, but we've not even gone into as much detail as one can even possibly go into. And you're already seeing the effects of the predictions that we've given, or what we've intuitively concluded. You can already see. You can already, the telling signs are already there. We've not packed the divination items. Ifa is starting to manifest. The things that were predicted are starting to occur. If Ifa's words are starting to be what was deduced from the audio that came out is starting to show type thing. So what we've said is starting to reflect in maybe how the person in question is behaving or how the situation is turning out. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please like and comment below. Let me know what you think, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. All of these things will help my channel greatly. I will reply to your comments if you comment. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.
Gbongboloko, gbongboloko. Ajideyin oku ode o. Gbongboloko, gbongboloko. Ajanjiyan lónìí olè yíyọ fẹ̀rẹ̀fẹ̀rẹ̀ kílẹ̀ tí máa ṣòmù gan sí ọmọ olè. Ajanjiyan olè yọ kílẹ̀ tí àṣòmù yóò ọmọ olè. Kíni tí máa ṣe pátá ọmọ olè. Àti àsòǹjọ́ ọmọ olè. Ìjogún ìyálé ìjogún ìjí wọn ni. Àti àsòǹjọ́ ọmọ olè. Ológun mọ̀ ìwọlé ẹni kan bẹ̀ sí mi ló mọ́ni. Àti àsòǹjọ́ ọmọ olè. Ìjogún ṣe bí ẹni wò mọ́lẹ̀ lọ́gbẹ́gbàá lọ. Àti àsòǹjọ́ ọmọ olè.